Hi everyone, it's great to see you. So if you are like me, I am dying for spring and I am missing the garden so much. Dan took me to visit one of my favorite garden centers, Russell's Garden Center in Massachusetts a few days ago, and I was just thrilled to see any signs of life and plants there, and we brought home some adorable little plants so that I can do a few little plants around the house until it's time to start seeds. I also have this fabulous arrangement here. So on Christmas Day, my mother-in-law brought this over. It had a huge amaryllis bulb in here in bloom and red. It was spectacular. That has now finished. I've taken it out and I'm left with this beautiful lemon cypress and European cypress. And I just love the two colors right next to each other with that beautiful, the sort of frothy foliage, one in the lemony chartreuse color and then this darker green. They just offset each other so beautifully. We have some red twigs in the center and this big succulent up front. So I just have this one little space to fill in, and these are the plants that came home. This is the one that looks pretty big, so I'm going to add this in. Now this happens to be a spike moss. Some people call it a winter fern, and there are a number of different kinds of spike moss. I have this kind, which is kind of the lemony color. This might be a frosty fern spike moss. It's one of the lighter green ones. I also have in here a ruby spike moss, which has the red on the underside. Spike moss is just a great plant, can be transferred outside, so I might add this to my garden later, but for now it can live inside and it just has that real ferny, leafy look to it. For those of us who are starved for our gardens now, it is a perfect addition in here. So I'm just going to nestle this in. I'm going to have to take out a little bit of the dirt, I think. I am a messy gardener, so gardening inside like this is always an adventure for me with a lot of cleanup. Oh, look at how that just nestles in there. So cute. And then I think I'm going to take this beautiful little plant. Now this is a bloodleaf plant and it has this really great reddish foliage. It doesn't get super tall, you know, it'll get maybe 6-8 inches, but it almost looks like they're silk leaves and that they're fake. They have that sort of shiny sheen to them, which I love. And I think that adding that red color here will just give a great contrast. So I'm gonna pop this one out and nestle it in. The great thing with a container like this is, you know, just pack all those little plants in. You can always, if they start getting too big, you can always rearrange later. Oh, look at that. So as I turn it around, I love this gold pine cone too in the back. That's just so cute. You can see we have our succulents, and this just fills it in gorgeously. And I can keep this out on my counter now and feel like I have some of that leafiness inside my house to get me through to the spring. Let me show you what I'm going to do with these next. I love the little tiny pots these come in. I think they're so cute. But I want to put these up on shelves along my wall, and I found these brightly colored pots that have an attached saucer. So for me, when I keep my indoor plants, I need an easy way to water, and I don't want water all over my furniture. So having a saucer underneath is really important. This has a single hole down the bottom, so it can drain out into the saucer. Now the saucers are really small, so I'm gonna have to be careful when I water to make sure that it's not going to run over the saucer, but at least I have that there. Now I did make sure that all of these plants are non-toxic to my cats. However, they will be up on shelves because I don't particularly want the kittens playing with the plants. The first thing that I'm going to do is I have some leftover potting soil here, and it's very dry. This is actually from last season. And whenever you're working with potting soil directly from a bag or dry potting soil like this, you want to pre-moisten it by just adding some water in and then working it in. And I always think, oh, I added too much water. It's going to be mud. What a disaster. And then I always have to add more. You want to do this. Otherwise, when you go to pot these up, you are just going to have the water run through the bottom, and it will be even more of a mess for you. So it's better to do that pre-wetting of the soil ahead of time. And look at that, it is still pretty dry. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. You know, I thought I was gonna turn it into mud, but I didn't. And then I just mix that in, and that's gonna be so much easier. And Pickle is checking out the plants. Yes, you can check them out, it is safe. Okay, those gloves are very dirty now. So we stop to give the cat a pat, of course, and we're going to put on more gloves. Okay, smells fascinating, doesn't it, Pickle? Like springtime. I know, I miss spring too. Okay, so in this box here, I have two different types of small ferns, and they were just labeled ferns. One is a little bit more chartreuse than the other, but so springy. I love it. I have the ruby colored spike moss. I have two of those. I have a couple of the succulents, and then I have this really cool plant. This is a Moon Valley pilea, and I hope I said that right, but it has like little craters here, and they call it a moon valley because of that. It looks like little craters on the moon. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take each of these out, and there isn't that much more space in these planters that I need to add that much dirt to them, but just a little right around the edge. Let me know if Pickle runs off with one of the plants and I have to get it back. Okay, and I'm just going to tuck them in here. Oh, so cute. These pots are just adorable, and I think the colors just bring that element of spring into the house here. And yes, I know it is still January, but I am waiting for spring. I am hoping that I can start seed planting probably in the next 2 weeks. Here's another of the ruby spike moss. I'm just gonna gently get that out. Sticking in. I'm gonna put this one in the white pot because I think the darker foliage will show up nicely against that. Oh, yeah, that looks good. And tamp it down, and you always want to leave a little space on the top to water without it overflowing. Let's see, I think I want a pink pot for this beautiful chartreuse fern. Oh, so cute. I was going through my seeds to see what I have, and I have a number of seeds left from last year when I did Cosmos, but of course I've ordered some new ones. So I'm gonna be doing a lot more coleus. My coleus just did so well last year. I'm really excited about that. And you know what? I can always make friends with more neighbors by giving them some of the coleus, even if I plant too many. My problem is the seeds are so tiny, it doesn't look like you're planting a lot, and then you end up with a lot of coleus. But you can't have too many plants. Okay. And I'm just tapping this in. Now this is regular potting soil. When you're starting seeds, of course, you want to start with a seed mix. But for these are established enough that, oh, that looks pretty dry. These are established enough that it is fine to go right to a potting mix, even though they're on the small side. And I'd rather put them in small little pots like this and then have to plant them up when they're ready, then put them in a giant pot and have them look kind of lost. Oh, these are looking so cute. And Pickle, you are just gonna be a mess by the time I finish, aren't you? But he's having a good time, just like a true gardener. We have fun when we get the dirt out. Okay. Oh, these are so cute. I love it. Okay, let me get cleaned up and I'll be right back. So here we have these adorable little planters, and I use one of these little squeeze bottles that has water in it for small little plants like this. I just find it so much easier to control the watering. So Pickle, let me get in here and just give them a little bit. And of course, you know, it's really important to look up how much water each of these really likes. I'm giving them all some water now, but you know, like my succulents, they'll probably go a good week before I have to do that again. Oh, and they just look so cute. And this really lets me get underneath the foliage. Perfect. Oh, you love them too, don't you, Becca? So now, when you do a little planter like this, I ended up with quite a lot of dirt on the outside, which I really don't want. So I'm gonna take a paper towel. Oh yes, we just wanna get into the pots. And I'm going to clean off the pots, and then I'm gonna show you how I place them on some shelves that are on my wall that Pickle won't be able to get to, so he's going to enjoy visiting the plants now. And that will get some indirect sunlight, enough to keep them going and get enough photosynthesis going through the rest of the winter and look really, really springy and alive in my living space. I love how this looks. So these 3 shelves we put up a little bit before Christmas. We had some Christmas decorations here, and we have a lot of windows that you can't see because they're over on that side, but we get the morning and the early afternoon light coming through here. So we'll get indirect light on these walls. That should be enough for these plants, and I think they look cheerful, and that's what I'm going for this time of season. So I'd love it if you would click the like button and subscribe to my channel. There will be a lot more content coming out as we get closer to spring. Please drop in the comments what you're doing to bring spring and plants into your house at this time of year to keep you going until we can be out in the garden again. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.